Speaking
That's
of
how
weed,
bad that shit is.
speaking of
Yeah.
weed, what's your favorite kind of weed?
Man, I ain't smoked since, shit, in a minute, bro.
Oh, okay. I thought it's been
Yeah,
recent.
I ain't smoking in a minute, man. I was incarcerated, so, you know, I ain't been smoking in a minute.
Right. What kind of kid were you growing up? Let's get into the personal aspect of you. What kind of kid were you growing up?
Oh, athletic. I played football and basketball all the way through high school and college.
Okay. Did you get into fights when you were in school?
Nah, nigga, I play sports. You the man. You play sports, you the man. You good.
Right.
I ain't getting no fights, though.
All right. You said you were recently detained. You want to tell the story real quick?
Yeah, I saw it coming. They was trying to set me up. I had a whole lot of money. And I just attacked the situation before it came to me, and it hurt me. They tried to say, because I was in the military, I tried to kill him, but they wasn't going to kill me. I wasn't going to have that. So then the girl, it was a dude, but the girl jumped into it, so she got it too. She should have stayed out of it.
Oh, wow. How much time did you do?
No, they were trying to give me 50, but I paid money for it. I paid $25,000 for my lawyer. He got me 3 years.
Oh, shit. So you recently got out?
Yeah, I got out last September, and I'm on probation now, on GPS and all that dumb shit. But I'm about to get off this shit and go back home to my wife in Pennsylvania. So my lawyer just told me today.
I just think it's a fucked up travesty what happened to you because you're a service member who served this country and you took care of some people that tried to harm you, and they put you in jail for it. That's kind of fucked, isn't it?
No, because when you look at it, each state has their own law. Maryland don't have no self-defense law. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that. No self-defense
law. They didn't. So there's no self-defense law. So it was like, nigga, who say what? You know what I'm saying? When you go to court, you know how that be. You know what I'm saying? They was lying. They said I had drugs, guns, all this dumb shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, wherever you have your phone at, keep it where it's at right now because I'm getting perfect feed from it.
Guess what? My Bluetooth died out.
Oh, okay. Well, you sound a lot better now. What's your favorite sport?
Say that again?
What's your favorite sport?
Basketball and football. I got two. That's what I played all my life coming up.
Okay. What position did you play in basketball?
Point guard.
Point guard. What'd you play in football?
Tailback, punt, and kick off return.
You look like a tailback.
Yeah.
And you got recently married, man. How's that going so far?
I didn't get the full extent on it because I'm away from my wife, but she come down and see me. I'm down in Maryland right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to stay in Maryland with this GPS. But about to go back home to Pennsylvania, man. You know, we got married while I was on this party about June 10th. That's when we got married.
Oh, wow.
It's great, man. I love her, man. I love my life. She's been rocking with me through this whole thing, so I'm cool, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right on, man. Do you still keep in touch with other Marines besides me?
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, right, man. How many? Like a good handful of them or a bunch of them?
Man, a bunch of them, man. Everybody on Facebook, bro.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Right on. Have you physically hung out with anybody from 2-5?
No, because I was incarcerated.
Right.
But now, before I was incarcerated, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but now that I'm back, I don't make my rounds again. I visit different states. People can come visit me. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. That's how I used to do it. I visit them. They come down and visit me. You know what I'm saying?
You used to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
Gemini.
You're a Gemini. Is there any particular Gemini traits that you know you have?
I don't believe in astrology.
You don't believe in astrology? Okay.
No.
All right. What's the shadiest thing you've ever done?
The shadiest?
Yeah.
I ain't a shady person, so
Yeah, you're not a shady person, but I think everybody does at least once.
I mean, I robbed some people back before. If you want to call that shady, that's the most shady I can say I've done.
Okay, all right. What's the shadiest thing that's ever happened to you?
People that say they're your man from the same box, grew up with this nigga, and they talking shit on your name. That just happened to me recently. You know what I'm saying? I know this nigga 30 plus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
and this the second time. He don't even know I know the first time.
Oh shit.
Only reason he know the second time because the person that told me called a nigga, because I was mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I didn't, because I'd probably been in more trouble, because I'd have fucked him up too. You know what I'm saying? He talking some reckless shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even be around. Each time he talking about this shit, why is my name coming up? I'm not even around.
That's dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Do you believe in the Illuminati?
Yes and no.
Okay, why?
I'm about to be a Mason, so I'll see where that take me and understand that more.
Oh, so, wow. Congratulations, man. Right on.
Yeah, I ain't in yet.
Okay.
I'm been waiting to get off this GPS and all this other shit.
Right.
And I'm going to get indoctrinated in. I already got my votes and stuff up, so.
Okay. Right on, man. Congratulations.
The only reason I was saying I don't believe because I never really looked into it, but I know messing with this Mason, that's along that line, so. Right. I'm going to learn about it through that.
Right. Tell me about your happiest memory. Take your time and paint the picture for the audience.
My happiest memory?
Yeah.
Shoot. My son was born because when my daughter was born, we was over in Okinawa. So, wasn't there for that. But when my son was born, you know what I'm saying, I was right there. You know what I'm saying, to see birth. That's amazing, man.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, my happiest moments when I saw my daughter born.
Yeah.
I was then they put her in my hands, and I thought it was the greatest thing. I cried because I couldn't think that I could make something so beautiful in my entire life.
Exactly, I agree, bro. I agree, man.
Nice, man. Any other happy memories you got floating around there?
Yeah, man. Married this wonderful wife, man. Beautiful wife, man. Love me unconditionally, man. This is the first time I've ever been in love, bro, and it's amazing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. First time?
It's amazing, man. Yeah, man.
And you're what? You're 44 right now?
46.
46. Wow. Holy shit.
No, I mean, I just was never wanting to rush into it because I said if I get married, I ain't getting no divorce. She know that. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I just felt I had to find somebody that like a lot of the things that I do. So at the end of the day, we can't never get bored or get tired of each other. We say, come on, let's do this old stuff we used to do. We'll do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Man. I found the woman of my dreams, and it's been going well so far. I've been with her for 3 years now.
Exactly, that's what's up. I've been with mine for 8 months. See that shit work, you know?
Hey, man, I'm not going to judge you. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Oh, man, shit. We saw people meet people that same day got married, still together.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can go either way. You know what I mean? It just on the two individuals. That what y'all want. Y'all gonna work at that shit.
You know, there's a Marine that we both know that died of cancer. And then his friend, who's another Marine that we know, hooked up with his wife.
Well, I didn't know that. I knew somebody was going to try, though.
Yeah.
I knew somebody was going to try.
We know who I'm talking about, too. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, I don't know who messing with his wife. That's what I want to know. I know who you're talking about that passed away, though. That was our man. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I'll have to tell you when we're not on the air.
Yeah. Please do. Please do.
I don't want to put the guy's name out in front.
Oh, yeah. I understand that, bro.
I had beef with this guy. Like he snatched up a girlfriend from me too. So whatever, it is what it is. Do you feel? How do you feel about being an African American in the United States right now?
I feel great. Ain't nothing gonna change how I feel about who I am. Even if I was green, blue, or black, I'm still gonna be great, no matter what's going on in this world.
Right. Where do you see the black community going as a whole?
That's a hard question, bro.
Yeah, I kind of just made that up and threw that out there for you.
That's hard because we won't never unite. Once we unite, we can handle stuff differently and won't keep going through the same things that society putting on us, i.e. police keep doing certain things. Excuse me. Did you see the little thing that was going around about the panel when they had the panel of police up there? They had all different races from different states, and they was asking why the blacks and the Latinos are the most people that the police always mess with. You see that?
I did not. Tell me about it.
Man, that was crazy, man. They said the only reason they mess with blacks and Latinos because they don't tell nobody. Like, if something happened to them, they ain't gonna call the congressman and all that. They say the white rich people do that. So they go mess with the people who they know ain't gonna have no results to mess with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Each cop said that from a different state, even the black cop, the Spanish cop, they had all different races up that joint, bro. Speaking of that, and they were saying sometimes they was getting told by their superior officers, go lock up a black or Hispanic person.
Really?
Yeah, I wish I could find that joint. That was very interesting, bro.
Yeah, man. If you can find it on YouTube, you need to send that to me, and I will play it on the podcast.
Man, that was interesting, bro. I'm talking about real live cops was saying that, man.
Oh, jeez. I think that's all I got for you, bro.
Oh, man, that's good, bro. Hey, I enjoyed the time, man. Anytime you need me on, I'll come back on.
Oh, please. I'm definitely going to want to get your opinions on certain issues, especially if anything else comes up, like another lockdown or anything.
Oh, yeah, no bad.
I'm going to do a check-in if it gets worse on, like, a couple of my past guests. You'll definitely be, like, the first person I call, so don't... it was great having you on. I really appreciate it. Stay on the line, and I'll stop the recording. But thank you again for your time and effort you put into this. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful.
Thank you, bro. Simplify. You know what I'm saying? How we do. You know what I mean?
Hoorah. All right, man. Hold on the line.
Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going now. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop now. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Children, what's that sound?
From the people's ruin. The reality is that most of us are not in a position to single-handedly change the world, but we can at least try to rid ourselves of the unnecessary fears which are the fuel for so much hate and destruction in the world. In fact, taking responsibility for one's actions and the beliefs that motivate such actions may be the most important thing one can do when faced with the prospect of an oppressive government. For as Stanley Milgram noted, the disappearance of a sense of responsibility is the most far-reaching consequence of submission to authority. And furthermore, might there be truth to the comment by F.A. Harper that the man who knows what freedom means will find a way to be free? At this point, some may be thinking that while the use of fear by those in power certainly contributed to horrible situations in the past, most notably in the totalitarian states of Russia, Germany, and China in the 20th century, Western nations of the present are far from approaching a situation so dire. Hopefully this is true, but it is important to realize that those who have lived through the rise of oppressive governments have seldom realized the perilous situation they were in until it was too late. We will conclude this lecture with a fascinating but ominous passage from the book They Thought They Were Free, which is based on interviews with normal Germans who lived during the Nazi regime. The following quote comes from one of the Germans interviewed, where he discusses why he thought that more ordinary Germans didn't take a stand against the rise of the Nazi government. One doesn't see exactly where or how to move. Believe me, this is true. Each act, each occasion is worse than the last, but only a little worse. You wait for one great shocking occasion, thinking that others, when such a shock comes, will join with you in resisting somehow. But the one great shocking occasion when tens or hundreds or thousands will join with you never comes. That's the difficulty. If the last and worst act of the whole regime had come immediately after the first and smallest, thousands, yes millions, would have been sufficiently shocked. But of course this isn't the way it happens. In between comes all the hundreds of little steps, some of them imperceptible, each of them preparing you not to be shocked by the next. And one day too late your principles, if you were ever sensible of them, all rush in upon you. The burden of self-deception has grown too heavy, and some minor incident collapses it all at once, and you see that everything has changed. Now you live in a world of hate and fear, and the people who hate and fear do not even know it themselves. When everyone is transformed, no one is transformed.